Most people talk about CoastFi as a tool for people early in their career and see it as a kind of first rung on the Fi ladder, maybe before you reach LeanFi. But CoastFi also becomes incredibly powerful near the end of a traditional Fi path, when your number is in sight, but you're still a few years away. This is especially powerful if you feel burnt out, or mentally you're done, but financially you feel almost there, but not there yet. You're stuck in that miserable just one more year cycle loop, and the last 2 or 3 years feel harder than the first 10 combined. And this is why. I think by this stage in the journey, something important has already happened. Your portfolio is now doing most of the heavy lifting. Those final years of contributions from work don't grow your wealth as much as people think. Rather, it's the compounding engine that's doing the work for you. At that stage in the game, your savings rate matters far less than it did in your early career. Time and market returns are now the dominant force in your portfolio. This means something subtle, but brutal, and it happens psychologically. You're no longer working to build the future. You're just working to top it up, whilst time and compounding do their job. That might even feel awful, because every extra year is now an endurance mission and not progress, or a risk management activity instead of ambition. You're padding out safety upon safety upon safety instead of creating freedom. And I think that's why people get stuck working the same high-pressure, high-income job, because their fear hasn't caught up with their reality. That's where CoastFi can be leveraged to change roles. In this scenario, for those nearing financial enough, CoastFi stops being a long-term strategy, and instead it becomes this amazing release valve. If your portfolio is already on track to reach full Fi without another dollar saved within the next few years, then the question actually shifts. It goes from how much longer do I have to grind to how little do I actually need to earn now to pay for day-to-day expenses? And that is a radically different question. At that point, you can take your foot off the accelerator. You can take a lower stakes role. You can reduce hours. You can protect your energy. You can stop forcing yourself through another excruciating year, all because the maths finally gives you permission. And once you see that clearly, the last years don't have to be the hardest anymore. They can be lighter, intentional, and human. This leads to my modified version of classic CoastFi. It's the same maths, just a shorter timeline, and then a completely different energy. Let's make this real. So let's meet Sarah. She's 40 years old. She's got a current portfolio of $1 million. Her target spending is $60,000 a year, which means her traditional FIRE number is $1.5 million. Her target age to stop working entirely is 45. So, here's the key insight. Sarah doesn't need to save her way from 1 million to 1.5 million in the same way she had to go from 0 to 500 or 500 to 1 million. At an 8% real return, her existing portfolio will grow from $1 million to $1.5 million in just over 5 years, without adding another dollar. If Sarah walks away from her high-pressure role now at age 40 and takes a lower-stress job earning around $5,000 a month to cover her day-to-day life and leaves her portfolio completely untouched, then full traditional FIRE arrives automatically at around age 45. No heroics, no sprint, no one more year. This is the modified CoastFi unlock. From age 40 to 45, the future is already funded. Compound growth does the heavy lifting, and work only needs to pay for today. At that point, Sarah doesn't need to retire. She gets escape velocity. And she could stay in her field, but drop to 2 or 3 days a week, move to a low-stress role, consult, freelance, teach, or try something completely new. This demonstrates a powerful insight most people miss when they talk about CoastFi. If you're currently saving 20, 30, 50, 70% of your income, that savings rate is effectively the pay cut you can take once you reach CoastFi and still be on track. That's why it works. The pressure lifts before full financial independence. The fear eases before you walk away completely from work. And the one more year trap suddenly loses its grip. This is designing a softer, saner landing into freedom. Crucially, without sacrificing your future and without burning yourself into the ground at the finish line.